Hey, Dina here. I originally wanted to film myself for this video like I did with my original Patreon campaign video, but I kept putting it off and it's just quicker this way. Well, I started my Patreon campaign a little over a year ago, and I figured it was time to do an update of sorts because some things have changed and I didn't get around to updating my info on Patreon to reflect that for a long time, but now I have. Before I go on, I want to say to my patrons, thank you so much. And I realize not everyone has the ability or the inclination to do that, but even for those who have just helped to spread the word, I really appreciate it. But back to my Patreon campaign. I still had a job when I started it, and I promised a minimum of one video every 2 weeks with the additional promise that I'd do more if I was ever making enough money to make this a full-time job, in which case I figured I'd do 1 to 2 per week. Well, the temp job I had at the time ended early, so I ended up with plenty of time to make videos. At this point, this is my full-time job, at least for now. I am currently making 2 to 3 videos per week. However, I am not making enough money for it to be sustainable. My husband does have a full-time job and it pays pretty well for being a fairly new position, but even with that amount combined with what I make off of my videos and Patreon at this point isn't enough to be sustainable. Now, we aren't starving or anything, but we're making just enough to live off of. But there are other expenses, like we need to move because we live in kind of a bad neighborhood and this apartment is way overpriced. And moving to a new one would be a big expense. Also, some of our stuff is in storage in another state and we'll need to pay some company to move it out here so we'll have access to it again. Stuff like that. So regarding the changes made to my Patreon campaign, as I said, this is basically my full-time job and I am doing more than what I promised. But since I'm currently not making enough money at it, I need to be looking for a quote-unquote real job. If I get one, it'll mean less time to make videos. So basically, reaching my goal will ensure that I can continue to making 2 to 3 videos per week. Of course, my videos will always be free to watch and I will never put any of them behind a paywall. But if just 10% of my subscribers on YouTube each pledged $1, it'd be enough to reach my goal and I could keep making videos for you guys on a consistent basis. As for the rewards, $1 gets you access to a monthly post I make where I share my video schedule with my patrons. I'll also occasionally make announcements about what my next Let's Play will be. And hell, recently I made a couple of posts where I shared in-progress screenshots of a couple of 3D models I was making, just because. Basically, whatever quote insider info posts I feel like making is available to all patrons. $2 gets you that, and it also lets you see all of my Tuesday and Friday videos a week early. Minor setbacks can and have happened occasionally, but I've been pretty consistent about it so far. The Sunday videos are kind of an odd duck and tend to be done at the last minute. I share them with patrons early when I can, but I generally consider the Sunday videos to be exempt from that. $10 gets your name in the credits of the Tuesday and Friday videos in a special thanks section. Again, I don't tend to even have a credits section for the Sunday videos, so they're exempt from that. That's it so far. If you think of anything you would like to see as a reward, feel free to suggest it. But anyway, whether you donate or not, thank you so much for your time.